All right, hello and good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday. We have made it to Wednesday. Glad to have you all here. Let me get my chat all set up here really quick. Okay, chat is set up. And there we go. We are continuing our Borderlands. We are almost we're level 40, max level is level 50. So we've just got a little bit more work to do. We're almost there. And once we hit max level, we can finally grind up all those sweet, sweet weapons, all that sweet, sweet loot. So we're going to do that today. I did find a game I'm tempted to start playing. I got a demo for it. It's called Aether something. And it is a like Pokemon Nuzlocke simulator. Like it's in the Pokemon style, but it's a roguelike, so every time you lose all your Pokemon, you have to start over. I'm kind of interested in playing that, so we might jump into that. Jonathan, first one here. Good morning. How am I doing? I am okay this morning. I am struggling with, and I know so many people know this struggle. I woke up and I feel like something weird in the back of my throat. So now the question is, oh boy. Am I getting sick? Did I just sleep with my mouth open? Is it allergies? Or am I dying? That's what I'm feeling right now. So I am not feeling the hype. I really hope it's not sickness. We've talked about before, but there's a lot of people talking about a new COVID variant going around called the razor blade throat variant, where apparently it makes it feel like you're swallowing razor blades. I really do not want that, so I hope I just slept with my mouth open and, you know, that thing in the back of my throat will go away in a little bit. But holy cow, I do not want to feel like I am swallowing razor blades. That sounds like the absolute worst of the worst kind of sickness. So really hope that goes away. And I've got one more dentist appointment at the end of this week, and then I'm finally done with all the deep cleaning and dental appointments, and I'm going to be so glad to be free from that. Fingers crossed that you're not getting sick. There's nothing a good cup of tea can't fix. That is a good idea. Maybe once I am done streaming, there is, I have a jug of my favorite tea, which is Gingerbread House. It's made by a local tea house who makes their own custom blends. And if you put just a little bit of, like, vanilla-flavored coffee creamer in it, or peppermint-flavored coffee creamer, it tastes just like eating gingerbread. So it is delicious. So I might make some of that. I will say, though, one of the things I learned, I never thought in a million years I would be a tea snob, but here we are. I do not like when I go to a tea house and they advertise themselves like as a tea experience who makes custom blends and all that sort of thing, and you find out that they're just like taking Lipton tea bags or Stash tea bags and serving it to you as a premium tea. Like, if you can't make your own teas, I 100% get that. Cool. I understand, like, not everyone is an artisanal tea crafter, but it's a hard sell when you say that you are a custom tea house, but you're just using tea bags like off the store shelf, right? Like that does not make you a tea house. And I hate to be that tea snob, but apparently I am that tea snob now, where that is not a tea house. It is an amazing tea. It is 100% an amazing tea. Also in great news, so on the 27th, so in 3 days, we will have officially finished the St. Michael's Lent. As you know, I did a 40-day fast for this. My doctor recommended I stop the fast halfway through, so we've had to make some changes. But we are going to officially be at the end of our fast on the 27th. And if the scale cooperates, and that might be a big if at this point, if the scale cooperates, I will have lost 20 pounds in 40 days, which honestly might be a little bit too much. Like, I know that most, like, health experts will recommend you lose, like, 1 pound a week, so losing 20 pounds in 4 weeks might be a little bit too much, but I learned so much during this fast and had such a good time doing this fast. I'm glad that it's over, and I'm super excited to get to make a video once I'm done here talking about my experiences and everything that went into this long fast. So I'm very excited to hopefully be at the end of this fast and get to talk about it. So that is my big win for the week, hopefully. Platypus is here. Good morning. How's it going this morning? Do you have any updates for us, Jonathan, about your grandmother? I have made sure, as I said, to be very poignant about praying for her since you asked for it. Is there any good news, or is it no news is good news, or is it still about the same? I think I need to go farm some weapons here soon. I feel like my my guns are not strong anymore. May have out-leveled my current weapons. I also got Mafia: The Old Country will be coming in the mail hopefully today, so we'll be playing some Mafia, the new Mafia game that came out, which I'm super interested to play for, if nothing else, confusing, good morning. If nothing else, they have a rosary system in the game. And any game that's going to include a rosary, of course, immediately is something that I want to, hey, that could be interesting. Let's talk about the rosary in the game and what they're doing with it and all that. So very excited to try that one. And on the 30th of this month, excuse me. On the 30th of this month, we are getting, this is Borderlands 4. This is the new Borderlands that just came out. On the 30th, we are getting, I lost my train of thought. The Elvis Chronicles. We are going to get to play the remake of Final Fantasy Tactics. If you've never played Final Fantasy Tactics, it of course came out on PlayStation 1, and then there were some Game Boy Advance ones, Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. Those are incredible games, so I am so excited to get to play those games again. Very excited for the Final Fantasy Tactics remakes. Some of the best games ever made, in my opinion, so very hyped for that. Saw an old man get jumped by two guys, so I jumped in. Bro didn't stand a chance against the three of us. There is so many reports of like random attacks happening. There was recently that lady from Ukraine who was involved in that stabbing, and like there is just so much random and wanton violence, it feels like, going on in the world. I know part of it, if you look at like statistically, if you look at the statistics, we live in the safest time in the world we've ever lived in. And I understand statistically that is true. And I understand like a lot of it just has to deal with the news is reporting every bad thing for sensationalism and making money. But it definitely does feel like random acts of violence are way up. Speaking of, I almost clobbered a guy on a scooter yesterday. Holy cow, like, thank God he is okay. But we were going down the street. It's a 35-mile-per-hour zone, and this guy on a literal, like, gas-powered two-stroke scooter, like a very tiny scooter. No power to this thing. It is not street legal. He should not have been on the street. He's sitting in a parking lot, looking both ways, like, okay, he's going to cross the street, no problem. He looks left, he looks right, and when he looks right at me, so he sees me, and then he decides I am going to pull out in front of this Subaru, and I'm going to try and speed in front of him and make it across there. And this guy, and I'm not making fun of his weight. I too am overweight. I am saying this just as a matter of fact. This man is largely overweight, so when you're on a scooter that already does not have a lot of power and you weigh a bit more than maybe recommended, you're not going to have the power to cross that street in a timely manner. So this man tries to bolt out in front of me, and I swerve hard into the left lane not to just absolutely clobber this guy, because there's no way. The little scooter with zero protective gear versus a Subaru going 35 miles per hour, there's no way this guy is making it out of this one. So I am so glad there was no one in the left lane and I was able to swerve, because that was That was terrifying. I truly thought for a moment there, today is the day that I have to deal with running a man on a scooter over. Luckily, that was not what actually happened, but I was truly scared for a moment there. Truly, truly scared of it. Jonathan, my grandma's doing a bit better. She's been allowed to go home, so me and my mom are doing our best to help her. That's wonderful. That is so glad to hear. Thank God. Why is someone joking about jumping an old man? You know, I think it's one of those just like... I think it just tends to be like a younger thing. Like when I was a kid, I really was into like the whole shocking, dark humor sort of thing. And when I was in high school, like the big thing was the jokes about infants passing away. That was like the really big thing. Like what's the difference between or how do you get 10 babies in a blender and that sort of thing. And I cringed so hard that I used to partake in that. So I understand that it's just kind of a thing I think a lot of people go through. But I'll never understand now, looking back on it as an adult, why that was ever like a really popular thing. Though I will say that I think there is a lot of the younger generation that needs to learn what like gallows humor is and what dark humor is, because there are so many, and I'm going to blame the younger generation, those darn kids. There are so many kids on Reddit who will be like, yeah, I have a really bleak sense of humor. And like, oh, okay, well, you know, tell me some gallows here. What kind of bleak sense of humor is it? And it'll just be like, something like, yeah, I think all the minorities should die. That's not a bleak sense of humor. Like that's not even a joke. Like you're being edgy. Sure, that's like edgelordism, but that's not a joke. That's not a sense of humor. Like you need to get off the internet. You need to go experience the world a little bit. My dentist called me today for an emergency appointment today so he can do a root canal. That is not fun. I too, as we have talked about, have been suffering through the dentist, so I'm definitely sorry you have to go through that. That is no good. I'm sorry. The internet is just such a terrible place in so many ways, so many times. Social media too. I'm gonna be glad. I feel like we're just now starting to push. We're starting to push towards it, and I feel like we're close. I feel like we're so close to maybe reaching a point as a society where we say, wait a minute, did we maybe go too far with social media? Maybe is it time that we like pull back from social media as a society and stop posting our kids and stop posting all the things, you know? Is it time that perhaps we admit social media was a mistake and we go back? And I feel like we're so close. We're on the precipice of it. People are like grumbling about it and feeling, and maybe, just maybe, we will get there. I really hope as a society that we finally push past that and say, you know what, we don't need Instagram in our life anymore. We don't need TikTok in our life anymore. And we can move forward as a society. Reddit is like the suspicious dark corridor of the interwebs. Reddit isn't even the worst. Like you know how everyone does like those icebergs? Like Reddit is the top of the iceberg. There are some real bad places in the internet, and I'll bring up 4chan. 4chan is like the next level of that iceberg. Like 4chan is something completely else. Like it is so hard to explain to someone who's never experienced 4chan what that place is. But I would say Reddit for sure is not the worst place on the internet. There is definitely some worse places than Reddit out there on the internet. Where are these bounties I am supposed to collect? Why is it not showing up on my map? Well, we'll just go do this mission then. I am so happy to almost be max level and start the grind in this game. I'm excited to see what the DLC brings, and, you know, some new heroes and all that. I want to unlock the true Vault Hunter mode so I can see the other stuff. If something exists, there's a redirect and 4chan sign just to hating it. Dex is here. Dex, you've got more questions and problems in theology and in Christianity to bring up. Bring it on. We are not scared of this. Let's hear the issues of the day. Let's grab this. If I remember right, this one we have to like throw this thing up on top, and then we have to... I think there was like a crate or something we have to do. I don't know. Some of these puzzles are a little difficult to figure out. Maybe it's that thing there. I'm questioning your interpretation of religion. Well, I try my best not to interpret things. You know, I try my best to just leave it to the experts. So a lot of what I will say is just regurgitating the Catholic Church's stance. So I want to be clear on that. I try not to interpret for myself because I am not smart enough to interpret said things, but I will give it a go. So let her rip. Let's hear it. How did you guys get the blue name? What does that mean? I think the blue name is for my mods. I think the mods get a blue name that pops up. All right, Jonathan, enjoy. Enjoy the cleaning. All right, we're eagerly awaiting Dex's questions to get started into a whole day of ranting and yapping. And speaking of yapping, I got the most interesting thing. So I made a video about Borderlands 4 talking about some of the issues, as we've talked about. That I take some real issues with the game. I think it's a good game, but I think it's flawed, and I definitely think that there are things that they can improve upon, which is true about most games, right? Most games are not masterpieces that can be the best. But so many people came out of the woodwork to be like, well, if you don't like it, stop playing it, or just stop talking about it, or, you know, why would you complain? And it's such a weird phenomena to me that, like, I'm making structured points about things that are flawed because I want the game to be better, and that's how you get the game to be better. Like, you give feedback on things that aren't working, and then hopefully the game devs will take that feedback and make the game a better product. I don't understand where this whole like idea of, well, you're not allowed to complain about things, so if you don't like it, just go away. Like, and I use Hell Divers as an example because I love Hell Divers, and we've talked a lot about Hell Divers, but like, Hell Divers has improved massively because the community has provided so much feedback to them, and they're listening to it. So I don't understand why you'd say, no, you're not allowed to give feedback, just don't play it if you don't like it. Like, if I was saying, I don't like Borderlands 4, I wish it was more of a puzzle game. Okay, well, that's not very useful feedback, because it's not going to ever be just a puzzle game. But also, like, don't you want the game to be better? Is this Crisis? This is not Crisis. This is Borderlands 4. What's your favorite color? I love bright colors. Give me a fluorescent, bright safety orange or safety green any day of the week. Like, if it hurts your eyes to look at, I want that color. That's what I like. I like the obnoxious, bright green, bright orange, bright yellow, horribly obnoxious colors. Those are my favorite colors in the world. Neons. Yes, I love neons. What's your favorite Pokemon Shiny Starter, Evolution, Legendary, and Game? Favorite Evolution is Umbreon. I think I think Umbreon looks the absolute coolest of all the evolutions. That black and gold is such a satisfying color. So I think that's probably my favorite evolution. Do you like rabbits? I do like rabbits. I don't think I could ever own rabbits, but I like taking pictures of rabbits when there's wild rabbits and stuff in the area. I love getting to take pictures of them. Favorite Pokemon game? Another tough one. I think Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire I probably played the most in, but I really liked Pokemon Legend Arceus, and I'm really hoping that the next Pokemon Legend games continues what they already built upon in the first couple ones. So I really hope that we get more of that Legend style. I like the idea of the open combat. I love the idea of open world. So probably that one. Favorite legendary, gotta be Mewtwo. As we talked about, I used to collect Mewtwo as a kid. I was absolutely obsessed with Mewtwo, so probably gotta be Mewtwo. Though I was saying before you joined, Dex, I did get, there was a demo for a game that came out that's advertising itself as a Pokemon roguelike Nuzlocke game. And I played a little bit of the demo, and I would say that is probably an accurate description of it. It looks to be like a roguelike, Pokemon-like game. So I'm pretty excited to maybe buy that game on payday, because it's looking like a pretty good game. And you know I love roguelikes as a genre, so we might be playing a Pokemon Nuzlocke knockoff. Also, speaking of Pokemon Nuzlocke knockoffs, did you all see Palworld's announcement? Palworld is making a new game, and they are going to be working on a Stardew Valley-esque Pokemon knockoff, which is 100%. I feel like they made this announcement for one reason and one reason alone, and that is because Pokemon announced Pokepia? The Pokemon is going to be making a cozy game like that. So I feel like Palworld is just giving the middle finger to Nintendo, and they're like, "Oh, you're making a Stardew Valley knockoff? Well, then we're making a Stardew Valley knockoff. How do you like them apples?" And continuing to poke the bear that is Nintendo. Which, if you didn't see, also apparently the White House, or the immigration division, decided to post a video called "Gotta Catch Them All," with ICE agents raiding people and trying to deport them. So we now live in the timeline where we might see Nintendo try and sue the U.S. government. And if there was any lawyer in the world who could maybe take on Nintendo's lawyers, it might be the U.S. government lawyers. We'll have to see if it goes that far, but there's a real possibility. I like rabbits in a stew, few vegetables, maybe some bread on the side. They taste amazing, especially their ears are very chewy. Who would have thought that Bugs Bunny would taste so good? I will admit, Bugs Bunny always did look like he would taste very good in the episodes where he was doing the... where he's in the stew, where he's messing with Elmer Fudd, and he's like in the stew, and he's cutting in like here's the carrots and the onions and all the various fixins. It did always look good.
Scrap with holes, scrap with no holes, scrap that had holes but no longer has holes.
I also, in other news that's unrelated, but as you know, I just gotta sit here and talk because I'm a streamer. I sold my DJI drone yesterday, and I'm very glad I did, because apparently this DJI drone is going to be going through really soon here, and there's a real chance that the government is going to ban all the Chinese drones in America. And I honestly, I don't know how I feel about that. Like, I'm a drone pilot. I enjoy flying drones. I enjoy seeing all the stuff with drones, but there are so many garbage drone pilots out there that break all the laws, that have no regard for other people's safety, fly them near airports, put people in danger, fly them over crowds. That, like, I understand why the government is just like, hey, y'all can't be responsible, so we're just taking this away from you. But it also sucks because, like, well, I am responsible, and I have the licensing and the laws and all the proper things to do this right, and I do follow all the rules. So it sucks to lose something because other people can't be responsible. But I'm also happier to live in a world where maybe I don't have to worry about all the irresponsible people with drones being absolute jerks or morons with it, you know? Do you know that Bugs Bunny had a baby with Daffy Duck? I have not heard that. Why is it just Chinese drones, though? Oh, it's 100% politically motivated. The reason for doing it is, oh, well, what if they're using the parts to spy on America? It's 100% for political reasons. I don't believe for a second that they think it's for anything else. So 100% politically motivated, but like when one of my favorite hotels to go to, Emmy and I always go to this wonderful hotel that's got a hot tub on the balcony and it's right on the beach. So you get to sit on the balcony and watch the waves roll in, sitting in a hot tub. It is such a wonderful experience. And I absolutely love like how private it is. They don't allow children there, so it's just adults watching the waves, enjoying the beach, and it's my favorite hotel to go to. And last time we went there, some idiot was playing with a drone and decided, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take this drone and I am going to drive up to people who are enjoying the privacy of this balcony, and I'm going to watch them. I'm going to watch people in the hot tub like an absolute creep. And he did that to us multiple times. So again, it goes back to, like, I understand why the government doesn't feel like people can have this, because they obviously can't be responsible with the technology. They'll do anything but help the people living. I mean, that is absolutely true. The government, especially our administration, does not exist to help people. It exists solely for the purposes of fattening their own pockets and profiting off of people as much as they can. I 100% agree with that. So, but in this case, like I said, people can't be responsible, so I don't mind them taking it away. But I do like doing drone photography. I like getting to fly around and see areas, and there is a drone coming out at the start of next year that I really want to play with. That is called a anti-gravity drone, and it's got two 360-degree cameras strapped to it. So when you shoot video on it and upload to YouTube, it's 100% like VR 360 view. So you can like click on the screen and drag it around and see everything. And I think that is such a cool thing, and I want to play with that and like do videos with that and show you guys that. But like, again, drone pilots are just out here ruining it left and right. I did also hear, since we're complaining about the government, I did hear that the House bill is going to be trying to put through a they're trying to change one of the tariffs already. Apparently there was a coffee tariff that went in on Brazil and a few other locations at the end of August, and they are trying to put through a House resolution already to remove that tariff because people are upset that their coffee costs more. And since that apparently impacted the people in government, they are now immediately trying to put forth okay, we messed up, let's remove that tariff because we don't want our coffee to cost more. So apparently, you know, they will make good decisions when it benefits them, and I guess we'll get the slight benefit of that. I wouldn't mind cheaper coffee. Oh, Songful, sorry, I was on a rant there. You were trying to do a knock-knock joke. Let's hear the knock-knock joke. You're from Ireland? I would love to see Ireland someday. That is one of the dream destinations, is to make it to Ireland. My family heritage is Irish and Scottish for the most part, so my great-grandmother, who is no longer with us, God rest her soul, had one of the things she always wanted to do in her life was visit her family castle, because her last name was actually Sutherland, which is like a actual like group in I don't want to say Highland, because I don't want to be like, oh, I'm a Highlander, dude. I'm one of those people, but she actually like directly descended from one of the Scottish clans, and her dream was always to get to go and see that before she passed away, and she got to go see it, and it was such a wonderful thing for her to get to go see her heritage and her family castle before passing away. And I wish I could have gone, or at least I really wish that I was old enough when she did it to truly appreciate what she was doing and why, because I kind of missed out on all that. But I'm so glad she got to go. There are starving babies and vets and retirees, but yeah, coffee. Yeah, that is one of the things. And like Elon Musk, if I remember, Musk was in the news, and I know people don't like talking about Elon Musk. We're going to talk about Elon Musk for a bit. Wasn't he in the news because he was out running his mouth and tweeting that if the World Health Organization could give him a realistic plan for how to end world hunger with like $15 billion or wherever they said the number was, that he would immediately donate it to them and implement it to end world hunger. And then they presented him with a coherent plan for ending world hunger, and he immediately said, nope, I'm not doing that, and then never talked about it again. I'm fairly certain he was in the news for that, and that was such a frustration. Because world hunger is one of those things that I am deeply, deeply caring about. When I try and do good in my community, the good I try and do in my community is donating to free fridges and people who are hungry. My local church alone has said that they have 66 people a week come to their free pantry to get food because they don't have enough food. Mel's here. Good morning, Mel. So that is the charity that is nearest and dearest to my heart, is all the people who are struggling with hunger. And that's one of the topics I'm going to talk about a lot when it comes to the Feast of St. Michael and my St. Michael's Lent that I did. Part of the reason that I did all this was because like food, it was such a problem in my life. And I think about all the excess calories I ate to hit 440 pounds. Like, how many people literally starved while I was stuffing myself to excess that was literally destroying my body with excess? And that's why now that I am in recovery and doing better and fixing my eating habits and losing a lot of weight, I want to ensure that I'm giving back to those groups who don't have enough food. Because I know what it's like to have too much food. I am blessed enough to have never known what it's like to not have enough food. So that is my charity. Whenever I'm trying to do charity, it will always try and be giving food to those who don't have food. And that's why whenever there's someone on the street begging for money, I just don't care. I don't care that people say, oh, well, if you give them money, then they're just going to go buy alcohol. That's not my responsibility. If there's someone asking for help, I am going to try and give them money. I am not going to let someone in my own community go without because I don't think they're going to be responsible with the money I give them. And also, like, if I'm coming off the high horse, like, if you're living on the street, you're cold, you don't have your needs met, everything kind of sucks. Wouldn't you want to drink too? Like, I understand it. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying it's healthy. But I'm saying I understand it. Like, if everything sucks and you're barely surviving and everyone looks at you like you're absolute garbage or less than them, wouldn't you too want to be able to drink a little bit? Like, I get it. That's all I'm saying is I get it. I get why someone would resort to drinking in a situation like that sucks. And, like, we know that people are overly judgy, and I've been on the weight loss TikTok and social media a whole lot as we've been talking about those things. And the amount of people who talk about, like, once I lost 100 pounds, the thing that was most shocking to me is how much people treated me differently. And, like, that is absolutely true. I can see that just in the comments on my video. Since I've lost 170 pounds and got my teeth fixed, I used to get so many comments that whenever I would post a video, people would say, shouldn't you be losing weight, fatty, instead of making videos? Or did you know that you're fat and ugly? And people would just come out of the blue to say, hey, I just need you to know that you're fat and ugly. And it still happens, but it happens way less because I'm not nearly as overweight as I was. And that's the society that we live in, right? Like, people feel they need to point out to other people when they are overweight. So I understand why. And it's the same thing if someone is homeless, people will come by like, did you know that you smell bad and you look bad and I disapprove of you because you're poor and therefore you are worth less to society. That is absolutely someone who is unhoused. That is absolutely something they are going to face every single day, is that there are people who are like, oh, I'm going to look down on you because you're poor and I don't like looking at the poor. And like we as a country are so bad about this, and this is a topic I'm divided on, so I'm going to try and talk about both sides of it. We're going to talk about hostile architecture. When governments and cities purposefully make like their parks in such a way that like, oh, these benches have spikes on them so that people can't lay down on them, or these seats are tilted at an angle so that people are not going to be able to sit here for long periods of time. That is what hostile architecture is. And like its whole purpose is, well, we don't want to see homeless people here. We don't want to look at the less fortunate. So we're going to build our city in such a way that we don't have to look at these people. And that's awful. But I also do understand to a degree the other side of the argument, where like you go to a park and you're trying to enjoy the park, and all of a sudden there's a community of people there, and there's a bunch of needles and garbage and people yelling and screaming, and now you and your child can't enjoy the park. I understand why people are running out of empathy for that, and I understand why people like, well, I pay taxes for this park, I should be able to use the park, but I don't feel like I can use this park because it feels unsafe to me. Because if I was a mother with my child and I wanted to use the playground and there was 5 tents next to it full of people who maybe are experiencing or showing signs of issues, I would understand why you wouldn't want to take your kid to that park. So I understand both sides of it. I understand why people are running out of empathy for it, and like, well, I don't want to risk my child. But like, there's got to be a better solution than, okay, so we don't want to see these people here, so we're going to build our city in such a way that says we hate your existence, right? There has to be a better middle ground than what we have now. And I absolutely, there's a park in my area. There is a park that has absolutely beautiful birds. It's got a big lake, and there's ducks and herons and geese and all sorts of wonderful animals come and frolic there. And I love going to that park and taking pictures of the birds. And that park has been closed for a year and a half. Like, I'm legally not allowed to go to that park because what happens is all the people who are unhoused will stake their tents and RVs there, and then they'll trash the park, and then the city will have to call in a bunch of people to come and clean it up, and that costs money, because hiring park rangers to go clean up garbage costs thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars. So eventually the city just said, you know what? We're just here. You're not allowed to be. If we see anyone there, we will arrest you. So now there's a park that I love to go to that's got great wildlife that we're simply not allowed to use because people have been irresponsible with it. And I understand why they don't want to pay money for it, but like, we've already paid to build the park. I want to go to the park, and it sucks that I'm not allowed to go to that park now, you know? So I, again, understand why people have frustration with these things, but hostile architecture is not the answer to this problem. I also hate that I'm such a Boy Scout that the city hanging a sign that says that this park is closed is enough to stop me, right? Because I absolutely know there's people like, okay, well, who's going to stop me? The sign? No, I'm going to go back there and look at the birds anyways. Like, there are some days I wish that I had the gall to do that, but I am such a Boy Scout goody that if there's a sign that says please don't enter here, then I'm gonna be like, well, the sign says we're not allowed to go back there, so we have to obey the sign because we live in a society, and what is a society if we don't listen to our signs, you know? So there are some days I regret being such a Boy Scout, and I wish I could, you know, stick it to the man and say, I'm going to go look at those birds. The government can't make birds illegal, man. Birds can't be illegal. But sadly, I am a rule follower, and it's so deeply ingrained in me, I will always be a rule follower, and there's nothing I can do about it. Sometimes you just have to accept who you are, right? This dude's got way too much health. Holy cow. Oh, that's because I'm on the run. There we go. Let's put it on shock. There we go. Aslan, how's it going? It is going good today. It is Wednesday. We've been yapping about all sorts of things this morning, and it is almost the weekend. Very, very excited. Very excited for the weekend coming up. The local furry group is putting on a Enchanted Forest themed artisanal booth, and I can't wait to go check it out because they are hosting a bunch of like singing and dancing, and I think there's gonna be some good photo opportunities. So whenever there's a furry event, I am always nervous about, okay, like, is this going to be family friendly, or is this going to be like the other side of the furry fandom? Yeah, I do get a little on edge, but I want to go and see, like, whenever there's homemade artisanal craft goods, I always like to support local artists, and I always love seeing people, you know, sing and dance and do fun things. So where is it happening? It's happening at a local park here in the Pacific Northwest. I looked up hostile architecture examples. I couldn't help but laugh. Some of them are absolutely ridiculous. There definitely are some absolutely extreme and stupid examples. Though the funniest thing with hostile architecture for me will always be when somebody installs the anti-bird spikes and then the birds are sitting on the spikes. Like, that will always never not be funny to me. It's like, okay, we won't want these pigeons here, so let's put in spikes to keep the pigeons away, and then you just see the pigeons casually sitting on the spikes. That will always make me laugh. The law is broken, man must fix it by disobedience. I don't necessarily disagree with that, but it's a tough spot because you have Catholicism, which calls us to follow the laws of the land if the laws are reasonable and don't go against God. So it's a tough spot because I don't disagree. Civil disobedience has its place in proper protesting and making changes in the world, but we're also called to follow certain laws. So it is a tough conversation, especially from a Catholic lens. I'm glad I know nothing about my local furry group. You know, I feel like furries are like Nickelback. They are so hated because people are told to hate them. Certainly there are bad parts of the fandom. I don't disagree with that. Certainly there are people who do cringy or bad things, but hating the group as a whole, I don't think makes sense. That certainly, like I said, there are the bad apples and the bad faith actors who do bad things, but I think as a whole, I don't think the group is as bad as people make them out to be. Let's go do this quest over here. I've never met a furry that wasn't a genuinely sweet individual. There is one furry that comes to mind who is a bad faith actor that I learned about, and I'm pretty sure his name is Patches or something like that. And what he did is he made a fursuit out of stuffed animals. So he took a bunch of stuffed animals and ripped them apart and then sewed them together to make a fursuit. And the fursuit he has never washed and is deeply soiled with... men use the stuffed animals in a gross and inappropriate way. And then he wears that to local conventions. So that kind of person is the mental illness and bad faith actor that needs to be shunned away from the community. That is a walking biohazard who should be actively shunned and removed from the community. But I don't hold the other furries at fault for that, because no one hates that dude more than the local furry groups, you know? Salt, what game is this? This is Borderlands 4, the new Borderlands that came out just about, I think, 2 weeks ago now? Not last Friday, but the Friday before, I think. So it's been out for a little bit now. There's definitely some people who have holy cow, there are some people who who have gotten way, way too obsessed with this game. The first guy to 100% the game was talking on Reddit. He played Borderlands 4 for 15 hours a day since it came out. And he even admitted, like, he was so addicted to the game that he was stealing from his workplace by signing into his workplace and then just going back and playing for 8 hours and not doing a single thing of work. Like, he was so addicted to the game that that he was stealing to continue to play it. Like, holy cow, the addiction ran deep addiction. Which, okay, now y'all got me on another ranting app here. The gamers. The Gooner gamers. Holy cow, do they upset me. There are so many people who are going online to complain about I'm just gonna say Resident Evil's not the right word. What's the other game? Not Resident Evil, not Half-Life. It's on the tip of my tongue. Fruit salad. What is it called? Silent Hill. Silent Hill. The new Silent Hill F that's coming out. Somebody played the game and said that if you move the camera in such a way to look up the possibly underage girl's skirt, they have censored her panties. And there is a legitimate outcry of people who are requesting for changes and petitions to allow them to ogle this schoolgirl's panties. And I cannot think of a more sad or gross thing than being so upset that you can't look at a video game girl's underwear, that you are taking to petitioning the government to make them change it. Like, do you not see how badly you need help in that scenario? It is the saddest thing. That is the gacha community. That is definitely the gacha community. I don't disagree with that. Welcome back, Jonathan. Hi, Saint. I'm worried. I think God is dead. All right, let's talk about it. Hit me up with it. Why do you think that? What's going through your mind? I can't promise I can change your mind. I can't promise that I can renew your faith, but we can have an open and honest conversation about it to the best of my ability. Am I going the right way? Okay, we're going over here. Yes. Yeah, but yes, that is a very, very gross thing that the community is upset about. Stellar Blade did the same thing. The fact that it's acceptable, like, I hate when people say we need to bring back bullying, but I do think we need to bring back a little bit of shame. Like, I definitely feel like the world would be better if some people felt a little bit of shame for things. Like, if you're proudly posting on Facebook that you're signing a petition to bring back the underwear in Silent Hill, I definitely feel like your friends and family should be like, hey, what are you talking about, dude? Like, you shouldn't be proud of that or posting it on Facebook, and you need to go touch some grass, my dude. Like, we need to bring back shame in that aspect. I feel like we could use a little bit more shame. Just a smidge. But that conversation always goes ridiculous, right? Because then you talk about like kids who get bullied for Naruto running at school. Like, is it really that bad if a kid is Naruto running through the hallways? Like, is it a little weird? Maybe, but like, is it hurting anyone? I don't think so. Like, do we really need to bully someone for that? No. So, but every time you have this conversation, people take it as like, oh yeah, we need to bully everyone. Like, no, the shame needs to be very particularly aimed at certain people, you know? I don't think God has left the world. Just look at all the world's wonders and all the good that exists. Just because there's a lot of bad things going on doesn't mean there isn't any light. We do need more shame in the world. People really lack awareness in how they may or look and act in this age. I know that one of the hardest conversations in Christianity is, why does God allow bad things to happen, especially to good people? And I really dislike giving the answer that it's all a part of God's plan, because that doesn't help when your child is suffering from cancer. Having someone come up to you like, oh, your kid's going to pass away from this horrible, painful cancer. Well, you know, God has a plan for everyone. Or even worse, when someone says God needed another angel, one, we don't turn into angels when we die. That's some bad theology. But telling a parent when their kid is in the process of passing away, like, oh, well, God is good, he's going to turn him into an angel, that's not comforting. That's not an appropriate response. That toasts my waffles in such a way when I hear that. But the reality of it is that God allows bad things to happen because free will exists. For the most part, when you talk about people going out and doing bad things, in order for us to be able to truly come to God and love God, we have to have the ability to not come to God. And that only comes through having a true amount of free will that allows us to do horribly, deeply depraved things. The other side of that conversation is talking about how God gives us crosses that in the moment we look horrible for doing or we hate having, but shape us and help us to get to heaven, right? The purpose of the cross isn't to give us a good and cushy life. The purpose of the cross is to get us to heaven. That's what ultimately matters, right? So it's a tough conversation. And there's a picture going around on the internet right now that I absolutely love of this guy at a convention who's carrying a cross, because, you know, Christians love to carry their crosses, but he's put wheels on the cross, like, to make it easier to carry. Like, that is such a bastardization of Christianity, right? Like, literally, you're forgetting the whole purpose of the cross if you're making it easier to carry, because the whole thing is the cross isn't supposed to be easy for you to carry, right? Like, so there's a whole issue with that. Okay, am I doing this puzzle? I feel like I'm doing this puzzle wrong, maybe. It's a very tone-deaf response. If you need religion to not do bad things in life, you are a bad person. I definitely don't disagree with that, but every time we have this conversation, I have to bring up that it's important that we realize that there is also, when we say bad, we have to have an objective point of view, right? That what is good or bad is decided right now by society, and that doesn't make sense. What it actually has to be is good or bad based on what God tells us is good or bad. So when we have that conversation, we have to also acknowledge that good and bad are objective, not subjective. If you were Gaza's child and survived, would you seek revenge? So I'm in a position of privilege here, so I don't think that my answer is necessarily going to be the best answer for this. It's very easy for me to sit here and be like, oh, yeah, no, I would never seek revenge because I'm such a good Christian that I would never do that. But also, like, I didn't experience what the children of Gaza experienced, right? So it's very, very easy for me to come here and say that I would not seek revenge because I simply didn't live the atrocities that they did. So while I think revenge is bad, and I would say that I would want to turn the other cheek as a good and moral Christian, it's really easy for me to say that in my cushy house away from war and starvation and all the atrocities that are happening. So I couldn't say for certain what I would do in that situation because, thank God, I've never had to suffer from that situation. So I try not to answer questions like that simply because my answer doesn't matter. It's so easy when you're in a position of privilege and power to be like, no, I would turn the other cheek because I'm such a good and moral person. And I like to believe that that's who I would be, but also, like, those people are starving and facing war crimes and other atrocities, so I have no idea what that feels like, right? And I'm glad that I have no idea what that feels like. I'm glad that I live in a world, in my own little bubble here, where I don't have to face those horrible atrocities. So I'm not going to speak to it because I simply can't comprehend the pain and suffering that they are going through. And that's also where, like, there's a group of Christians who are talking about the sin of empathy, It's so bad to be empathetic, and it's so antithetical to Christianity to call empathy sin when we should be empathetic to those people who are suffering and try to make the position better in any way that we can. I understand that a lot of us are just one person. We can't actually do anything meaningful, but to just say, well, we shouldn't even have empathy for those people, we should just feel sorry for them, is such, again, a tone-deaf, privileged response. How can empathy be sin? My understanding of the sin of empathy that this fringe group is trying to push is they are trying to say that when you have empathy and understanding for things that they consider sinful, then you're encouraging those people to continue in their sin. By trying to understand the sin and by trying to be empathetic to it, you are encouraging it. And therefore, you should not be empathetic towards it because you are encouraging those faults and flaws in those people. And 99% of the time, when we're having those conversations, the people who are saying the sin of empathy are saying those people in the context of, like, the LGBTQ community or people who are undocumented immigrants. That is 99% of the time when we're having this conversation, that is all they're talking about is, I want an excuse to hate people, a part of the LGBTQ community and a part of the undocumented community. And that is where that conversation comes from. Again, I don't agree with that. I don't think there could ever be such a thing as the sin of empathy. But that is where it's coming from, is this fringe group. It's the same fringe extremist groups who were trying to convince everyone that yesterday was the rapture. But don't worry, the rapture didn't happen yesterday, but they've changed their mind, and the rapture will actually be happening today. So, you know, it didn't happen yesterday, so big shocker. As always, they've had to change it so that the rapture is actually going to happen this morning. And it was one of those things where it's beat with a simple Bible verse, right? Anyone who's actually picked up a Bible knows that God tells us you will not know the time or the hour, so always be prepared. Like, that's Bible 101, and yet you have people out here who are trying to sell you Bibles and insurance and things based on a rapture that's not even biblical. Have you ever read Dante Alighieri's Divina Commedia? Yes, Commedia. I have read the first part of the Divine Comedy. I've only ever read Dante's Inferno. I have never finished Paradiso, so I haven't finished the entire trilogy, but I've read Dante's Inferno, I've watched Dante's Inferno the movie, and I've played Dante's Inferno the game. Nick, good morning. Which I highly encourage, if you've never played Dante's Inferno the game on PlayStation 3 and Xbox, holy cow, is that a fun game. You should try it. Alright, this guy is resisting my electricity, so let's see if we can find something else that will work a little bit better towards him. Okay, that's working a little bit better. Okay, let's see if we can hit him in the head with the tracker maybe and get, like, full crits. Alright, take our time. Let's aim. Okay, that's brilliant. That should be headshots galore here. Yeah. Dante's Inferno, I think, is a must-read. It's one of the books that I don't think is horribly overrated. There's a lot of classic books that I feel like are horribly overrated. Like, anything that's the great American classic. Maybe I should put on the unpopular opinion glasses for this, because I'm fairly certain I'm going to reach the unpopular opinion territory with this. But, like, The Great Gatsby, I don't feel like that is a must-read book. You know, I don't feel like Great Gatsby is really as good as people say. Grapes of Wrath, I feel like, is massively overrated. Hopefully the Rapture won't affect my galactic war on Hell Divers. Beloved was another book I had to read for my AP class. I felt like Beloved was massively overrated. A River Runs Through It. All feel like massively overrated great American classics. I'll also go as far as to say I feel like Shakespeare is kind of overrated in the same way, and I always preface like the Beatles. When I talk about the Beatles, I acknowledge what the Beatles did for music, but I don't see any reason to listen to them in 2025. It's the same thing with Shakespeare. Like, I acknowledge Shakespeare was massively influential. I acknowledge his work inspired so many people. I acknowledge all the things that Shakespeare did. But I personally feel like it's a little overrated. Not bad, just a little overrated. A little bit, like 20%. 20% overrated.
This I will do for you. Cannot repeat.
What's a really fun rabbit hole to deep dive into, though, is look up a list of words that Shakespeare invented, because there is a whole list of words and phrases that can be traced directly back to Shakespeare.
This is where I would go. Control-Alt-Delete shall.
Speaking of democracy and Super Earth, if you guys didn't see, yesterday I posted a teaser for my Dungeons and Dragons Hell Divers game that I plan on running at some point. I posted a teaser trailer for it that was absolutely awesome, if I do say so myself. And I cannot wait to play Dungeons and Dragons Hell Divers. It is gonna be a hoot. Which character did you pick? I originally started with Vex, and while I acknowledge that Vex is powerful, I didn't like her playstyle, so I switched to Amon. Amon is way more my my playstyle, the tanky, life-steely kind of character. That sounds awesome. It's gonna be awesome. What I'm trying to do is the story will be that the story's gonna be that the players are taking part in the Moria, when Moria had the black hole. So it's gonna be the Meridian black hole, and they're gonna be traitors to Super Earth who, in order to redeem themselves for betraying Super Earth, they have to go through the Meridian portal and see what's on the other side. And on the other side is going to be a portal to Faerun, the world of Dungeons and Dragons. And they will have to conquer the world of Dungeons and Dragons in the name of managed democracy. So, taking over Baldur's Gate, fighting dragons, but as Helldivers, I think will be a really fun mashup crossover. Shakespeare's overrated, said the ICP and Saint Anger fan. I stand by. Saint Anger is without a doubt the best Metallica album. I know everyone wants to say, oh, the Black Album. No. Saint Anger is the most raw and beautiful artistic piece of art that Metallica ever put out. The Black Album's good, don't get me wrong, but if we're talking about like art and what music should be, Saint Anger tops the list every time. I went with the guy with the blades. Yeah, I want to play Rafa too, with the blades and the arm cannons. Looks really cool. I'd happily dive into a black hole to spread democracy for Earth, Super Earth. So the way I'm going to run it is I'm going to run it as a Dungeons and Dragons campaign, and we're going to do what's called a Gestalt campaign. In a Gestalt campaign, you level up 2 character classes at once. So instead of being like a level 1 paladin, you're a level 1 paladin, level 1 warlock. And so every character is going to have spell slots, because I want every character to be able to use spells, and their spells are going to be their stratagems. So I'm going to use spells as like their advanced technology. And we're going to do ridiculous with the first quest I'm going to make them do. I've already decided the first quest is going to be, obviously, in order to run Super Earth's War Machine, you need oil, and that's why they have the whole bugs in Super Earth, right? The bugs in Super Earth are their oil, but those bugs don't exist in Dungeons and Dragons. So the first quest is going to be that the democracy officer or the science officer has run the scans, and they have determined that that kobolds are similar enough to the bugs from Super Earth that they can use them to make the oil they desperately need. So I'm going to make them go find a cave full of kobolds and turn the kobolds into a kobold farm to power Eagle 1 and their stratagems. That's going to be quest number 1. But his viewers could not hear his influence, for his voice was lost to the sky, caused by the breath of his soapbox and the highness of his horse. It is true. People do not hear my opinions. Not willingly, at least. Sometimes, for the vast majority of people, what happens is they're scrolling across YouTube shorts and they see me and like, what's this guy all about? And then they hear a terrible opinion, and then it's just forced upon them. They are forced to hear the stupid things that come out of my mouth. I need to replace the submachine gun. This submachine gun is not very good. Prepare the shotgun, and here we go. Fire! I also started watching last night. Netflix has a new show called Haunted Hotel. And it's pretty darn good. I'm only halfway through it, but if you haven't given the Haunted Hotel on Netflix a shot, it's pretty good so far. I definitely think it's one of the better Netflix original shows. It looks like it's written by some of the original writers, not the creators, but some of the people who helped write Rick and Morty. So I can definitely see the influence of like the Rick and Morty humor in the show, but give it a shot. It's pretty decent so far. There hasn't been like any excessive or gratuitous sex or violence. Like there's a it's demons and ghosts and stuff. So there's a little bit of violence and a little bit of stuff here and there. But overall, it's been a pretty good show. So if you're looking for something new, I recommend that. We've accepted a quest from a talking toilet. That is very Borderlands.
My bowels call talking toilet, but I will stay them and hear of your plight.
OMG! Thank you. You're such a sweetie for helping out.
I don't know how I feel about doing the toilet's bidding, but I guess experience is experience, right?
Call for vengeance is one I respect, but first I must know if it is warranted. The townspeople do not seem...
The toilet wants us to destroy the town. What do you think about Italians? Should the Vatican be moved to a more grateful country? I have been talking about for a little while now. One of my goals next year is to go to the Vatican on a pilgrimage and see the Vatican in Italy. Is the thing on your nose a nose opener? Yes. I needed a breathe right strip this morning to breathe a little better, because I think I'm having allergies this morning. I woke up with a little bit of a sore throat and some gunk in my throat. I think it was allergies. So these things are a lifesaver. If you've never tried a breathe right strip, you have not lived. If you're over the age of 30, get yourself some breathe right strips. They are amazing. Does it work good? Yes. The Breathe Right strips are absolutely amazing, an absolute must. Do yourself a favor and get yourself some. I absolutely love them. A must-have for anyone over 30. That's how you know my core demographic is not children, because we can have a good conversation about the benefits of a Breathe Right strip. Yes, buy yourself some. You will not be disappointed. I need some of them. I tried to find... So, one of the things I talk about a lot on my channel is waste. And I don't like waste. And so I try not to waste. So, the Breathe Right strips, as you know, are single-use items. So I tried to get some of the magnetic ones that are like reusable because I didn't want to create the waste. And so far I have not found any of like the magnetic reusable ones that are nearly as good. These strips I got in bulk. I literally just went onto Amazon and got like a I looked for a Breathe Right strip knockoff because the Breathe Right strips work great, but they cost a lot. So I wanted a knockoff that costed a little bit less. So I just got some Amazon knockoffs, and they worked great. I'm 23, and I feel like I need them. Everyone can benefit from the Breathe Right strips, I feel. I'm not a doctor, so I cannot give you medical advice, but I feel like most people would benefit from the Breathe Right strips. I feel like there's no going wrong with them. But I'm going to cover my butt first and say that I'm not a doctor, just in case someone finds some way to use a Breathe Right strip wrong and gets hurt. I don't want to be held medically liable for someone somehow harming themselves using a Breathe Right strip. So I'm pretty sure you can get them at any pharmacy store, Walgreens or anything like that. I'm fairly certain that they're there, but I got mine as knockoffs from Amazon. Anyways, back to the Vatican being moved. No, I believe the Vatican, the church has always been in Rome. It was built in Rome and established in Rome. And even if some of the people there don't appreciate it, one of the core tenets of Catholicism that I think a lot of people forget is the church is a hospital for the sick. The people who need the church the most are the ones who don't appreciate it, who don't like it, who are against it, who... So if Italy, for whatever reason, as a whole, is not appreciating the Vatican or what it does, that's all the more reason for the Vatican to remain there, because the church is a hospital for the sick, and we need it to be there to do the most good. That is also why I always stand against when people like, oh, well, this person is too much of a sinner to go to church. There's no such thing. The church is literally for the sinners. If you think the person is that far lost, they should be going to the church. That is the whole point and purpose of the church. So anyone who discourages anyone from going to church does not understand the faith at a fundamental level, or the purpose of the church at the very least. I do hope to make it to Italy next year, though. I do want to see the basilicas. I want to see the Vatican. I would love to see a mass said by the Pope. And then, of course, just see the beautiful countryside. There's definitely a lot of wonderful things that I think I could see in Italy when I'm there.
What can I do for you, friend? Tell me the tale of your murderous talking toy.
Besides that, when you talk about moving the seat, you talk about moving the Bishop of Rome to a different country. I mean, that's how you get... Sorry, I have to readjust here. That's how we got Eastern Orthodoxy. Granted, that's a massive oversimplification, and there's more to it, but that's a huge part of Eastern Orthodoxy, is that they didn't think that Rome represented their interests, so they wanted a pope who was closer to home. And once you start moving the Pope around, you start to have splits and segments and different groups. And eventually, if we start getting our own popes and moving them around and all that, we just move back to Protestantism. So I am fine with the Pope staying where he is. There is a... I want to say it was Jimmy Akin. Maybe it was Jimmy Akin. Maybe it was Trent Horn. I'm pretty sure it was one of those two, who said that you can achieve a medieval peasant-level piety by not knowing what's going on in Rome. Ignore the politics and don't be involved in it. And essentially what they were saying was that, back in the Middle Ages, we didn't have social media. We didn't have the ability to hear from the Pope every day. We weren't waiting on the Pope's every word and thought. And that, the Catholics of the Middle Ages let the Pope do the Pope thing, and whatever be I'm just concentrated on my life. And I feel like there's a lot of people who could probably benefit from that. A lot of Catholics especially, who could definitely be better off if they just weren't involved in what the Pope was saying every single day and not involving themselves in the politics of the Vatican and just focused on their local church and their own faith and all that sort of thing. The church keeps denying they are involved in politics when they're single-handedly the most influential entity in people's minds. They can't be separated. That's cope. No, I'm not saying I'm not saying the Vatican shouldn't be involved in politics. The Vatican absolutely is deeply ingrained in politics. I'm saying that us, the members of the church, me in the Pacific Northwest, I don't need to know what the Pope is saying every single day. I don't need to be involved in the Vatican politics every single day. Because there's people who spend all day on Reddit complaining, the Pope said this, or the Pope translated this, or the Pope thinks this, and they're not getting themselves any closer to God. They're not strengthening they're so concerned with the Pope that they're forgetting to do their own stuff. And it goes back to take care of the twig, or take care of the log in your own eye before the twig in your brother's eye, right? Like, they're so concerned with what's going on with the Pope and the politics that you could benefit from just taking a step back from it and not being involved in it. Let them do their thing, and then, you know, if something really important happens, more than likely your local bishops or cardinals will make an announcement. But it's not like the Pope is out speaking ex cathedra every single day. So we don't need to know what the Pope's every whim and thought is. And we especially don't need, there were people betting on whether or not the Pope would wear red shoes to his, I want to say coronation, but I think that's the wrong word. We don't need to be so involved in the Pope that we're betting on what color shoes he's going to be wearing. That is definitely something we don't need in our life. Peak gameplay here. We had to press X to flush the toilet. That is definitely some 2025 peak gameplay.
You think I want you closer? Get over yourself. You're just stuck.
How do you feel about Pope replacing that guy who eulogized Kirk? Do you think Trump will name the Pope a terrorist organization and tariff spaghetti? Bubbles here. Good morning, Bubble.
Are you well?
I'm not aware of that. You know, I'm practicing what I preach. I don't hang on the Pope's every politic and word, so I don't know who the Pope replaced and why. So I guess I can't really have a good opinion on that because I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. Eggs. Hello. Good morning. I have not been keeping up with the Charlie Kirk and news around it. I have not been involved in any of that.
So, you're not feeling the chemistry?
I suppose this will suffice.
Can you find something?
We found a Broomba.
Hurry, bring it back. She's clamping me with
I didn't agree with the Mr. Beast and whole Team Water stuff. Like, I believe we should be focusing on our own country, and honestly, all the multi-million dollars going towards other countries. That's another one. That's another one I have no idea on. If you showed me a picture of Mr. Beast, I could not point Mr. Beast out in a crowd. I have no idea what he looks like. I've never watched one of his videos. I know nothing about Mr. Beast. I don't keep up with the whole Mr. Beast thing, so I have no idea what you're talking about with the Team Water stuff because I know nothing about Mr. Beast. I do not play Roblox, no. We've talked about this before. I don't play Roblox on stream because I specifically don't want to attract a younger audience. But I was tempted to play Roblox when they released the My Hero Academia game because I really love My Hero Academia, but with the controversy around them not taking the right actions around the Predators and them now opening up a dating Roblox game, I simply don't want to support their company or business, so I will most likely never play or touch Roblox because I don't want to support them. I just don't see a need to support them. Supposedly, the Archbishop of New York said Kirk was a saint, and the rumor is the Pope wants him replaced or something. There is definitely a lot of people who consider Charlie Kirk a modern day saint. We want to define the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church defines a saint simply as somebody that we know is in heaven. Now, typically, the saints are associated with doing great deeds in their life, and the way that we know that they are in heaven is by them performing miracles on earth. Ben's here. Good morning, Ben. There is one major exception to that, and that is the martyrs of the faith and baptism of blood, and that is where people who die for the faith and like refuse to reject Jesus, for example, they will automatically be assumed to be in heaven for dying for the faith. So that is the requirement to be a saint. So does Charlie Kirk meet those requirements? I don't think so. There's a lot of people who say that he did die for the faith, but I am not convinced based on the arguments that they're using that the conversation that he was having in the moment was the faith, and I'm not convinced that the person who took the action that they did so because of his religion. So that could change. We could, of course, find out more information as information is always coming out. But as we are in the moment we are in, I don't believe that this was a martyrdom for the faith. So I don't believe he meets the requirement on that front. So as for becoming a saint in the other way, is it possible he's in heaven? Definitely. It's not my place to judge or say. But at this point, I don't believe he has done any miracles on earth since passing away. So I don't believe that he meets the criterion for sainthood. However, I don't necessarily think that that it would be wrong to put forth the suggestion to say, should this be investigated? Like I said, because the situation and the landscape is always changing. If there's evidence that someone has passed from the faith, that someone has been a martyr, then just simply opening the door and saying, should we consider sainthood here, I don't think should be an instantly, you lose your job, you lose your livelihood, you're defrocked, and you're shunned from the church. I don't think it's that serious of a charge yet. So I don't know that we need to take those desperate measures as of yet. I just think that we don't know enough at this time. And I guess maybe that's a long, yappy kind of answer of me saying I don't know, but I think that's where we should be at right now. Is we don't know enough yet, right? Like I feel like sometimes the appropriate answer is us saying we simply don't know enough at this time to make a decision, and I feel like that's a wholly appropriate thing for people to say. Is I don't know enough yet to make a decision. And I know I've said that in like 10 streams now, but I do believe the world would be a better place if more people were not afraid to say, I don't know enough yet. That being said, I really like Pope Leo. I really respect what Pope Leo has to say and what he's done. So if Pope Leo makes a decision, barring some massive evidence to the contrary, I don't think I would find myself disagreeing with whatever Pope Leo believes is the best course of action. I can't say there's been any decisions that I've read about that Pope Leo's made so far that I disagree with. Have you ever played Subnautica before? Yes, I have played Subnautica. I loved Subnautica. I would love more Subnautica. I can't wait for Subnautica 2 to be coming out in early access so that we can play some more Subnautica. I want to play Subnautica in VR, but as we've talked about, streaming in VR is very difficult because I can't chat with you all, and my favorite part of streaming is getting to chat with you all, so I don't stream in VR, but Subnautica is on the list of games to go and play again. So As Dex hates me saying, it is on the list. I do like Subnautica. Alright, what goodies do you have for me? Nothing. Nah, that's okay. Nothing. Ooh. That's got some great damage, cryo efficiency, and Ripper. Alright. We got an upgrade. Upgrades, people. Upgrades. Which one do you like better, Below Zero or the normal one? I actually have not played Below Zero yet. I bought it for my Switch, and I haven't played it yet. So, I guess I'll say the original, because I haven't played Below Zero yet, but I want to. Maybe we should play that. We'll play that one here soon, actually. But first, we have to on Friday we have the Final Fantasy Tactics coming out, and that is going to be a must play day one. We've got Mafia coming that we're going to be playing absolutely for certain. Got to play Mafia. And October 7th, we have World of Warcraft is going to be releasing some stuff. And I still enjoy World of Warcraft. I know it's a 20-year-old game, but I do still enjoy World of Warcraft. So we will be doing some World of Warcraft chores at some point here in the future. Okay, I guess we have to go around, maybe? Is it trying to tell me to go around the building? Yeah. Okay, we gotta go around. So we have plenty of games. I guess at some point we have to play Donkey Kong Bonanza. We haven't really played Donkey Kong Bonanza, and I feel like all the hype has died down for that since, you know, it's old news now, but I'm kind of excited to get to play Donkey Kong Bonanza. I haven't heard a whole lot about it, so I don't know if it's one of those things that just kind of like died off, or if people just aren't interested anymore because it's old news, but I'm kind of excited to get to play that one. We also have Hello Kitty Island Adventure we need to stream. I did think Hello Kitty Island Adventure was better than I thought it was. And then we got that Pokemon Poke-Clone game to play. They announced Donkey Kong DLC. I saw that. It's a retro style, right? They're doing a return to form with the Donkey Kong DLC, I believe, if I saw correctly. So I am hyped to play it. One of these days I will get it and we will play it. I'm waiting for it to come from GameFly, but obviously it's been out of stock for a long while because it is a good game and everyone wants to play it. So at some point we will get Donkey Kong and we will play Donkey Kong. Ooh, I saw purple. What did this guy drop? Purple. Show me the purple. Oh, just iridium. Not as exciting. It's still useful, but not exciting. Alright, how many more people? Holy cow, there's a lot of people. I was going to say, how many more people can they summon? But they summoned a lot of people. So many mobs. Look at all those guys. Holy cow, my map is just all red. I'm really looking forward to Durn Folks DLC for Return to Moira. Really, you're still playing Return to Moira. I played that when it came out, and I felt like it was just meh. But then again, you know, I feel like Return to Moira was one of those games that is much better playing with friends. So I think that's probably why I felt that the game was just okay. Was because I think it's probably better if you're playing with friends. So are you playing with friends? Is that why you're enjoying it? I literally haven't heard anyone talk about Return to Moira since it came out. Like, that game feels like it fell off so fast. But not as fast as Tales of the Shire. I have not heard anyone talk about Tales of the Shire. And I know that I played it on stream and we made a review where we ripped it to shreds. And with good reason. It was not a good game. But I don't feel like anyone's talked about that game since its launch. DLC for a game that isn't even out yet. It's crazy work. Here's the thing, like, I know that people are mad about DLC coming out for games that haven't been released yet, but kind of I like it. And I know that a lot of people say, oh, well, it's just cut content, so they're not really selling you DLC, they're just selling you cut content. But at the same time, like, if they're already announcing DLC, that means we're guaranteed to get more content. So if you like the game and like what they come out with, it guarantees that the game's going to get support for, you know, at least a year. And I like that guarantee that we're going to be getting support for at least a long time. Because there are too many games coming out nowadays where they launch, it goes with a bad launch, and then they immediately shut down the server 6 months later and the game is gone forever. So I would much rather pay a little bit extra for DLC knowing the game is going to be out for a long time than risk a game that I enjoy getting shut down forever. Like Anthem. Anthem could have been great if they put the time and resources and money into it. And if they said, you know what, we need more money to do this, so we need a DLC, I would have been behind it. Instead, now we just never get Anthem. I'm guiding them since it's several times you're a dwarf fan. Ah, see, that's the problem. I am not a dwarf fan. If I can avoid it, I will never play a dwarf in a fantasy game. I can't get into dwarves for some reason. You know, the dwarven fantasy just doesn't appeal to me. I'm also against games for children having content locked behind a paywall. I definitely dislike, especially mobile games made for kids that include paywalls and try and get money. Like, the worst offender of this, honestly, Pokemon is the worst offender of this with their Pokemon puzzle game that they launched for free, that they want like $70 to unlock everything for, knowing that children are going to play the game and knowing that children are going to want to unlock everything. That was pretty abysmal of Nintendo. But then again, you know, oh, shocking, Nintendo made an anti-consumer decision. Alert the presses. I love dwarven architecture, and Return to Moria gives off the dwarven vibes. I can see that. Dude is just tanking grenades left and right. There we go. Did we clear everyone out? Is that everyone finally? Holy cow, that was so many people. Last one. Okay.
Your strategy to stay behind and let the Vault Hunter do all the difficult tasks was so brave, Clappy.
Ooh. Ooh, this shotgun. Cryo efficiency and...
Thanks. Green is me and Jen's favorite color.
but the fire damage... Let's try it out. I don't think it's better, but let's try it. Ooh.
Of course, Faye.
Energy shield with amped up when energies are full. Shots drain 20% of those shields for 50. Nah, that's not good. I'm mispronouncing Moira? Am I? How do you pronounce Moira?
Jenny Phoebe, get ready for a
Is it Moria?
whole new you.
That's Dwarven. I don't speak Dwarven. Ooh. Okay, this gun's got some damage to it. Is that a snake behind me? No, that is the arm of the Waffle Knight making waffles behind me, if that's what you're talking about. It's Moria. I would have never guessed that in 1,000 years. Here's my shame. Here's my shame to admit. When Harry Potter came out, I had no idea how to pronounce Hermione. And I thought her name was Hermione. And I can't be alone in that, but it's still pretty embarrassing to be the kid pronouncing Hermione as Hermione. Moria, Morora. Well, do you see the difference? I don't. I don't see the difference. But I feel like mispronouncing Hermione, I feel like that's a fair one because her name is difficult, right? Like, and I'm gonna say, I'm gonna probably sound ignorant here. I'm pretty sure J.K. Rowling made that name up. I don't think anyone in the history of ever has ever been named Hermione before J.K. Rowling came up with that name. And maybe I'm wrong about that, but I feel like that name just didn't exist. I feel like she pulled that name out of her butt. To be fair, that seems to be how she wrote half of Harry Potter, so maybe I'm not that far off.
Oh, Black Daddy, it's perfect. Set it there.
And transferring files.
Digistruct blueprints not found. Acquire blueprint.
Trying to think of other character names that I absolutely destroyed because I read them first and didn't know how to pronounce them.
Your files instead of transferring them.
Ooh.
Oh, but you're in both units now.
4,108 healing and leech. Alright, we're taking that. That's pretty darn good.
My God. Just see what this new bot can do. Ooh, what's this? Blueprints acquired.
If I really want to go into specifics, the real name is...
More blueprints.
Alright, let me look back up. It's Moria of
You feel my
Khazad Doom.
Bad guys.
Let's see if I pronounce that correctly. Khazad Doom.
Killing the cats.
Oh, hell you don't. No one goes near my man.
Hey, rookie, is it just me or is she getting a little clingy?
One of these days, I am going to finish watching Lord of the Rings. I've only made it halfway through the first movie, and I really need to finish watching Lord of the Rings and get all the way through it. That pronunciation was better, but not perfect. Still is Dwarven approved. I did read an interesting article someone posted on Reddit that I thought was interesting, and they said that they never understood why in fantasy, with like standard fantasy, like standard Lord of the Rings fantasy, D&D, all that sort of thing, why is Dwarven ale always stronger than Elven ale? And here's their argument, and I'm fully on board with this. I understand Dwarves' whole thing is strong beer, but elves in most of these fantasy settings are like these absolutely perfect immortal beings that have existed for millions of years, and they have absolutely flawless bodies and are just super powerful. Like, they're perfect in every way. So it stands to reason that if they're that powerful, then, you know, their livers and kidneys should be so advanced that their beer should be the strongest beer in the world, because they've just had millions of years to perfect it, and they've got perfect bodies that can handle the poison that is beer. So it stands to reason that elven liquor should be stronger than dwarven liquor. And I know every dwarf fanboy is gonna call me a heretic for saying that, but I buy into the theory. I definitely agree. I feel like elves should canonically have stronger booze than dwarves. I feel like that is true. You need to watch the extended versions someday. Someday I will watch the extended versions. It's on the list. Instead, we watched the Blues Brothers for the first time the other day. And I wasn't terribly impressed, to be honest.
Rookie, she's headed toward a river camp.
Dwarves are alkies, so they need something stronger. But isn't that also like... I feel like elves would be too. Like, elves are alcoholics too, but they're like in the wine mom sense, right? The soccer mom sense, as compared to dwarves that are just all about like the heavy drinking. I feel like both need very strong things. But then to make the argument even more murky, you throw humans into the mix. And humans are always seen as like this young, indomitable, stupid race that's extremely adaptable. So if that's the case, shouldn't humans have the strongest alcohol? Like, in real life, you have humans mixing energy drinks and prescription pills with Jägermeister. So I feel like it's entirely possible that maybe the humans should have the strongest alcohol, since we have no regard for our own safety, especially when it comes to alcoholic beverages. So maybe both sides are wrong, and humans should be allowed to have the strongest alcohol in fantasy races, you know? Because in no fantasy do I ever see dwarves drinking Red Bull chocolate milk mixed with moonshine, you know? Like, it's always just like, this is a really strong alcohol forged with a touch of lava rock from the deep mines. Like, okay, that's probably not the healthiest thing for you, but it's not a cement mixer, you know? We couldn't handle it. Like, when I was deep into my alcohol phase, I used to take 190 proof Everclear and mix it with V8 Splash and call it a splashing crash, where you drink 8 ounces of Everclear and 8 ounces of V8 Splash. Like, I want to see a dwarf handle my crash and splash. I don't think they're ready for that. For those of you not in the know, 8 ounces of V8 Splash would be what? Three shots of Everclear, 3 shots of 190 proof Everclear. It was not healthy. It was not good. I do not encourage anyone to ever drink that. It was horrible for my body. And I'm so glad I've reached a point in my life where I do not drink. Dwarves are the best 100%. I'm more a fan of the monstrous races, like dwarves, meh. Let me play as a Minotaur, though. Yes, any day of the week. Minotaur. Satyrs, love playing as satyrs. Is wine good? No. Straight up no. No. Anyone who tells you that wine is good is lying to themselves at least a little bit. It's the same thing though, like with beer. Like there's the people who will tell you like, oh, this is a triple hop ale that tastes like a traditional IPA. Like, no, it tastes awful. Hops taste awful. And anyone who tells you otherwise is trying to be a beer snob. There is one beer. There is one beer that tastes good. I take that back. There are 2 beers that taste good. Number 1 is Guinness. Guinness is the best tasting beer of all time. Followed by a good Schöfferhofer Hefeweizen is a good tasting beer if you accent it with a little bit of grapefruit juice. Just a touch. Those are the only 2 beers that taste good. What about ale or mead? Ale or mead to me, and this is... You've done it now. Ale or mead only tastes good because it's like 30% honey. It's basically... A mead is the milkshake of the beer world. If you like ale or mead, then you don't like the taste of beer. You like the taste of honey and sweet things. So I don't feel like a mead fits into this conversation. I know that's a massively unpopular opinion, but I stand by it. Mead is amazing, but that's because it's literally just honey with a little bit of beer poured on top to call it a drink. honey is good for you, Waffles. I understand it's my own personal beef with sugar and glucose and honey, but I cannot stand honey. It tastes good. I acknowledge that it tastes good. I acknowledge that it can be good for you, but sugar is the enemy, and I will never indulge in. Maybe when I reach Wonderland, when I reach 199 pounds, maybe I can finally have a taste of like a full sugar candy bar or something. But until that day, sugar is the enemy. Carbs are the enemy. I've always wanted to try and make my own mead. It has never been a better time than to get into beer brewing. There are so many good like home brewing options and so many good like starter kits and all that. If it's something you want to do, you can literally just Google like mead brewing kit, and for like $100 you can brew your own mead. Like there's never been a better time to get into the hobby. 100%. For a man whose whole persona has been bees are a mascot, leave the bees alone. Honey are amazing. Actually, when you take the honey, you're unfairly taking the labor of the bees. So, like, we as humans shouldn't be consuming honey because that's stealing from the bees, man. When are you playing Mass Effect? It is on the list. But it's a little bit far down on the list right now because we got Final Fantasy Tactics next week. We've got Mafia this week. We've got the new World of Warcraft patch next month. So we have a lot of games to go through for the next few days. I'm not, because you have mega hives and make more honey than you need and you just access it, you hippie. I always found that conversation so fascinating with the vegan, like, no, you can't eat honey because it's made by the bees and you're stealing their labor unfairly. When there seems to be some studies that show that bees don't mind us taking their honey. As long as we leave enough honey for them, it seems like bees can acknowledge that when we're keeping them in captivity and farming them, that it's a better trade for them, and they're willing to give us honey in exchange for healthcare and protection. So it seems like there's some studies that at least give us some semblance that the bees are aware of us and okay with the honey trade.
You breaking up with me?
Ugh.
I think it's time we kill other people.
All right, we gotta destroy the toilet. The toilet has been destroyed. The world is safer for it. Bees are cool. Slavery, got it. Bees are amazing creatures. That I 100% agree with. We love bees here, even if we slander honey a little bit from time to time.
I hope you learned something today, rookie. Maybe next time you won't be so easily swayed by a suitor's charms. Especially not an uggo like that. Ah, Jen! Oh, you're still alive! That's not...
I learned everything I need to know about bees from Magic the School Bus. Speaking about that, did you use a whip as a weapon? Yes. So Amon's special is he summons a giant shield that absorbs damage, and then once you've absorbed enough damage, you turn it into a whip that you use to fling out cryo damage at enemies. It is pretty awesome. You know what's crazy? The first episode of Magic School Bus, the very first episode of Magic School Bus is the episode where Arnold dies on Pluto.
Traps allowed? Please tell me there's not more.
Like, how is that a okay first episode for a kids show is showing a child brutally dying in space. How is that a kid's show?
There's an extremely violent AI named
Cats
Genevieve
are amazing
trying to
creatures,
scare
Dex. You just don't understand cats. You know, I feel like that's your issue. I don't feel like you understand cats. All right, Moxie, what do you got for us? We've got a iced out assault rifle.
How do you think I am? Now put me in another body so I can knock that smug
That could be pretty good. Let's equip the iced out. Let's do one more. If you didn't know, if you give Moxie $40,000, she will give you a legendary item. So let's see if we can gamble for another legendary. See, I woke up with something in my throat, and now I'm feeling a cough coming on here. I think I'm getting sick, and this is awful. It better not be COVID.
Now that's what I like to see. Feel free to make it a habit, honey.
Better not be COVID.
You smash
37, 38, 39, 40. Where's my legendary, Moxie? There we go. What do you got for me? A legendary assault rifle. Okay, not great, but yeah, we're gonna destroy the super toilet because, you know, it's a little homicidal, so we're gonna do the right thing. And apparently we bugged out the quest and can't, so I guess the toilet lives on.
I'll get you for this, you sucking cutie, idiot. Vengeance will be mine.
I'm gonna make a good cup of tea. In fact, I've been streaming for too long. I've streamed way longer than usual. I need to go wash some dishes now and make that that cup of tea we talked about. So it is about time for me to end the stream and go hunt down some tea as soon as this quest is over. We're almost done. I want my reward. I want my payoff. Cash, hello, welcome. All right, Claptrap, give me my reward. I've been running all around.
Genevieve
I destroyed your girlfriend for you. Give me something. Can I be a mod? Potentially. We just elected us some new mods, so I don't currently have a need for more mods, but the way I do mods is I look for people who stick around for long periods of time and who enforce the rules and vibes of the stream, so you know, it is a possibility for the future. Alright, we got our reward finally. Let's see what we got here. We got a mesh shotgun. We got a weapon skin. A new hover drive. And meh. That was not worth it. That was not worth it at all. Alright guys, it is time for me to end the stream, go do some chores, and make some tea. So as always, let's end with our prayer. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Lord, today we continue to pray for all the people who don't have enough, whether it be food, water, shelter, whatever they are lacking. Lord, help to provide for them, and help us, their brothers and sisters in Christ, to provide for them. Lord, we pray for an end to violence, whether it be political violence, whether it be the wars ongoing in the world. Lord, bring about an end of the violence. We pray for all the seminarians, all the priests who are, or people who are considering becoming priests. Lord, help to guide them through the seminary process, as we need more priests desperately in the world. And finally, we pray for all the souls in purgatory, all the souls who have been forgotten, all the souls who have no one left to pray for them. Lord, help them. All this we pray in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. All right, everyone, it is the end of the stream. I gotta go wash some dishes, make some tea, and get to my actual day job. It was a pleasure, as always, to hang out with you all. Jonathan, great to hear your grandmother is doing better. Glad you're having a good day. Everyone have a blessed day, and we will see you again on Friday for another stream. We should be playing the new Mafia game, so look forward to something new. Have a blessed day, everyone.